Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are doing great. So let's continue with a discussion on contract costing. Contract costing. So let's revise it a bit before we move forward. So what is a contract costing? We have already understood. There are two parties to the contract, contractor and the contractee. And in the last lecture, we learned that there is a third party also, that is an expert, right? Then we were discussing about contract account. We were discussing about contract account, and I told you that this contract account we are going to study in 4 parts basically, right? For CA intermediate new course students, there are 3 parts, and for other students like CMA students, right, and other BCom students and other course students, for them there are 4 parts. The first part was regarding material, labor and overheads, right? The second part was regarding plant and machinery. The third part was regarding work in progress, that is WIP. And the fourth part is regarding notional profit, and notional profit is we have to cover it yet, right? We have already covered about the material, labor, overhead, plant and machinery and WIP. In WIP we studied about 2 concepts. One is work certified and the other one is work uncertified. So in the last lecture we understood the meaning of these 2 things, work certified and work uncertified. Right, I hope that is clear. Now the last part, this notional profit part, this is not to be covered by CA Inter new course students, right? CA Inter new course student, for these students the question will end here, right? This transfer of notional profit part, calculation of notional profit is there, but transfer of notional profit is not there for the CA intermediate new course students, right? So for them the question will end here. They have to study the contract account on 3 bases: material, labor, overhead, then plant and machinery, and then WIP. In WIP, work certified and work uncertified, right? But we have a large audience, sir. We are not restricted to only CA intermediate students, so we will be covering this notional profit part in this lecture, right? Now we have studied about the contract account, right? This is the contract account that we have studied. All those who have the books, guys, open your books, 11.6 page number, right? So we have studied about this and we have calculated the notional profit. I told you what is notional profit, sir. This is the estimated profit that we are estimating, that this is the profit that we are going to earn from the project. Look, the project is going to run for multiple years, right? The project is starting on 1/4/21 and the project is going to end on 31st of March 23, right? So it has to run for 2 years and we are closing the books on this date, that is 31st of March 22, right? On this date what we can calculate is only the notional profit. Now he says, now I'm coming to the next topic, which is not for the CA intermediate new course students, right? Rest of the students listen to it very carefully, but see, if you are a CA intermediate new course student, do not skip the whole lecture, right? Because I'll be covering one practical problem also, so do not skip the whole lecture, just skip this part, and even if you will listen to this part, there is no harm in it, okay? Now listen to it very carefully. Now what I'm saying is, I say that this is the notional profit, this is the estimated profit, right? At the year end, on this date, on 31st of March 22, what I will do is I will prepare my profit and loss account. I will transfer whatever is my profit, I will transfer it to profit and loss account, right? Because I might be having the multiple contracts. This is for a particular contract. So whatever is the notional profit from a particular contract, I will transfer that to the profit and loss account. Any doubts in this thing? Contract account is just one part, that is a mini profit and loss account. It is related to a particular contract, but at the year end, when I am reconciling all my books, right, I will combine the data of all the contracts I will combine all the contracts account. There, whatever is the notional profit, I will transfer it to profit and loss account. But logically, just think about it. If you earned, say, 3 lakh rupees profit, can you transfer the whole of the profit to this profit and loss account and book it in this particular year? No, sir. Why? Because, sir, this project has to run for 2 years, right? So this notional profit, this is just an estimated profit. This is just an expected profit, right? For the project, for the contract. So what I will do is, he says, transfer some amount to profit and loss account and some account to WIP reserve account. That, sir, still some work is pending on this contract and my final profit will be I will be able to calculate the final profit after the completion. So I cannot take the whole amount of notional profit to profit and loss account and book it as a profit in the current year, because the whole of the contract is not complete in the current year itself, right? Some of the part will be completed in the next year. So what I will take is, I will take some part to the profit and loss account and rest of the part to the WIP reserve. I will create a reserve that, sir, the contract is still pending. There is work in progress. So I will take it to that. Clear? The logic is clear? Any doubts? I hope this much is clear. Right, sir? Now, the point here is that, sir, how to identify that what amount of notional profit should be transferred to profit and loss account and what should be transferred to WIP reserve, right? The point here is that what amount of notional profit should be transferred to profit and loss account and what should be transferred to WIP reserve. So there are particular specified rules regarding this, right? What are the rules regarding this? Let's see. These are the rules for amount of profit and loss to be taken to P&L account. That is, this is notional profit basically. This is basically notional profit and loss. So guys, in the books, open page number 11.5, right? It is right here in the books. So these are the rules. What the rule says, sir, he says, in case of a loss means the notional loss. Here in the contract account, I told you there can be a loss also, right? This is what? This is my notional loss. So he says, if there is a notional loss, then what you have to do? Take the entire amount of loss to the profit and loss account, right? You don't have to think about it and take the entire amount of loss to the profit and loss account. This is my complete loss, right? Now he says, in case of profit means in case of notional profit, then what you have to do? What you have to do in case of notional profit, sir? There are rules, right? What are the rules, sir? What are the rules regarding the notional profit? Listen to it very carefully. The first thing that you have to calculate is percentage of work certified to the contract price, right? Like, listen to it very carefully. Say my contract price is 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs, right? And my work certified is, say, 8 lakh rupees. Now what you have to find out is, you have to find out that what percentage of contract price has been certified by the expert, right? So percentage of work certified to contract price means 8 lakh divided by 20 lakh multiplied by 100. This will give you 40%, right? This is the meaning of percentage of work certified to contract price. Any doubts? Clear? Now he says the first thing that you have to see is that how much percentage of the work has been certified. According to that, you will transfer the amount of notional profit. According to that, the notional profits will be taken to profit and loss account. Right? Now there are rules. He says if this percentage is less than 25%, what does it mean? Just try to understand, sir, what does it mean? Percentage of work certified. Sir, my work, the completion of my work is almost negligible, sir. Less than 25%, it's nothing. Right? Now, if the percentage of work certified to contract price is such minimal, less than 25%, how can I say that I will be earning profits when I have not done the significant work on that contract? It is less than 25%, it is insignificant, it is not a significant work that I have completed. Then how can I identify that what profit that I will be earning? That is nil, sir. No contractor is going to pay me, no contractee, sorry, is going to pay me when the work completed is less than 25%. He will say, at least do something before I will pay you. Less than 25%. It is totally insignificant. Why should I pay you? Right? If he's not going to pay me, how can I book the profit, sir? You cannot book the profit. So your profits will be nil. You are not going to take anything to P&L. The entire amount of notional profit will be transferred to WIP reserve. Write it down. Entire amount of notional profits, entire amount of notional profits will be transferred to WIP reserve. Right? Entire amount of notional profits will be transferred to WIP reserve and nothing will be taken to profit and loss account. Clear? Now next, he says if the percentage of work certified to contract price is equal to or more than 25%. Be careful. Here we are using less than 25%. In the second category, we are saying equal to or more than 25%, but less than 50%. Right? Now this is the percentage of work certified. Now the contractee will say, okay, now I can see that some work is completed. So I will pay you some amount, right? How much? He'll say 1/3 of notional profit. What is the amount to be transferred? Because some part of this work has been done. It is more than 25%, but still less than 50%. It is now in the significant category, but on the lower side, right? So he says, I'll pay you something. What? 1/3 of the notional profit will be transferred to P&L. Sir, there is something more written, cash received to work certified. This CR, what is the meaning of this now? Cash received to work certified. Listen to it very carefully. Sir, my work certified is 8 lakh and in the last lecture I told you the concept of retention money. Right? So what is the cash received? You received the cash of only 6 lakh rupees. You have not received 2 lakh rupees out of it. Now tell me, you can book the profits to the tune of 6 lakh or 8 lakh. Sir, the amount which you have not received, listen to it very carefully what I am saying. Sir, the amount which you have not received yet, how can you book profits on that amount? 2 lakh rupees you have not received yet. How can you book the profits on those 2 lakh rupees? This 6 lakh is sure, this 6 lakh is your amount that you have received. You can book the profit only to the tune of the cash receipt in comparison to the work certified. Right? Say my notional profits are, say my notional profit is 1 lakh rupees. Right? This 1 lakh rupees I have earned where the work certified is 8 lakh rupees. Right? The certificate is given for 8 lakh rupees. On this 8 lakh rupees, I am earning a notional profit of 1 lakh rupees. Right? But I have received only 6 lakh. I can book the profit only to the tune of 6 lakh rupees. So what I will say, for 6 lakh, what will be the profits? 1 lakh multiplied by how much? Sorry, divided by 8 lakh multiplied by 6 lakh. This is my cash received. This is my work certified. This is my notional profit. But the rules say you have to pay 1/3 of it only, because still a lot of work is to be done on the contract. That is why we will consider only and only 1/3 of the notional profits. 1/3 will be transferred to profit and loss, and the rest will be transferred to the WIP reserve. Clear? Only 1/3 of the notional profits will be transferred to where? Profit and loss account, and the rest will be transferred to the WIP reserve. And I hope this is clear that why we are taking CR by WC. CR means cash received, WC means work certified, that we will book profits only to the proportion we have received the cash in proportion to the work certified, right? So this is the first category. This is the second category. Now we come to third category. Third category says if the project is equal to or more than 50%, equal to or more than 50%, you have to be very careful where the equal to is used and where it is not used, right? Because that can be really confusing in the examination. So if the contract is equal to or more than 50% complete but less than 90% complete, now this part remains the same. But here the proportion will increase, that is instead of 1/3 we will take 2/3, because now the significant part of the contract is complete, right? So now as we near the completion of the contract, we will have a better clarity that we'll be able to earn the profits out of that contract or not, right? As this completion, this percentage of work certified keeps on increasing, right? This proportion will keep on increasing. 1/3, then 2/3, earlier nil, then 1/3, then 2/3, because as I am going to proceed with the contract, as I will be nearing the completion of the contract, I will be having a better clarity that whether I will earn profits from this contract or not, right? When the contract is just 10-20% complete, how can I have a clarity, sir, whether I will be able to earn the profits from that contract or not? When the contract is just started, just a little bit of the work is done, and you say that so listen to it very simple. I'll explain in a very simple language, sir. Out of the 17 chapters, you are covering just 2 or 3 chapters right now. How can you say that you will score 100 marks? Can you say? No, sir. Right? When you cover 10 chapters, you will gain some confidence. You can say, now I can score at least 50-60 marks. When you cover 15 chapters, then you say, now I can score 80 marks. Right? So as your percentage of completion goes on increasing, your confidence level goes on increasing, your profit, your gain goes on increasing, right? Similar is the case that as the completion, the work certification goes on increasing, the amount of notional profits to be taken to the profit and loss account keeps on increasing. First 1/3, then 2/3. Now he says this is the fourth category. The fourth category says if the project is equal to or more than 90% but less than 100%, this is the contract nearing completion. This is contract nearing completion, right? There is a separate topic that we are going to discuss on this part. On this fourth part, there is a separate topic, estimated profit, that is in syllabus for CA Inter students also, right? So the formula for this is estimated profits into CR by CP. Now here, why we are taking the CP and not the work certified? Because almost 100% of the work is complete and certified. Work certification is nearing 100%. So here, this CP will be equal to work certified, sir. Right? What is the cash received? Again, I'm going to book profits to the tune I have received it. To the tune I have not received it, I'm not sure whether I will be getting that amount or not, so I cannot book profits to that amount, right? Estimated profits is when I am just about to complete the contract, now I can nearly correctly estimate that what are my profits going to be, right? Now I can correctly estimate what are the profits that I am going to earn from this contract. So here no percentage would directly take estimated profits whenever is the case of the contracts which are nearing the completion, which are equal to more than 90% complete but less than 100% complete, right? So this is the case. Getting the point? So these are the rules for the transfer of notional profit to profit and loss account. Again and again, I am repeating, this topic is not for CA intermediate and new course students, right? So do not comment down again and again, sir, is this in the is this in our syllabus for CA intermediate new course? This is not. I have repeated it several times that this is not to be done by CA intermediate new course students, right? But do not skip the video. Do not skip the whole video, right? This much is clear. So how you have to present it in the contract account, this is how you have to show it, right? I'll rub it a bit so that you are able to understand it clearly, right? Notional profit, you have calculated here. You will say by notional profit brought down, right? This is carried on basically. Then the notional profit will be split into two parts, the profit and loss account as per the rules, and WIP reserve will be the balancing figure. Clear? This is how you have to transfer the notional profit to profit and loss account and WIP reserve. Is that clear? Now this topic I wanted to cover for all my other students, right? Our channel is not restricted only and only to CA intermediate students. But yes, the CMA students are there, BCom students are there, UPSC students are there. So a lot other courses are there who have this topic, this notional profit, transfer of notional profit is there in their syllabus. So I have covered that topic. Clear? So tomorrow you will not say that, sir, you have not covered it. So I have covered this topic completely. In the Hindi lectures, I have covered it even in more detail, right? But sir, this is complete detail. Don't worry about it. I have covered there. I have covered it in the practical questions also. Right, sir? Any doubt in this thing? No. Now the small topics, one is the contractee account, which the contractor in the books of contractor, you can prepare the contractee account, right? Sir, what about the contractee? So contractee will pay you the amount. This is the amount contracted and he will keep you paying in from time to time. Whenever you, he will pay you, what will be the entry? The entry will be cash account debited because you are receiving the cash to contractee account. Sir, we are still preparing the contractor's books, right? I have clearly given in the books of contractor. So in the contractor books, if we want to prepare the contractee account and whenever you are going to receive the cash, the entry will be cash account debit to contractee account. Any doubt? So in the account, you will write by cash account, right? This amount you will carry forward to the next period, that this is the balance that we have received, right, sir? You will brought forward more cash received, right? And when the total cash that you have received, total cash received is equal to contract price. If whenever you are going to have, whenever you have received the total cash here, right, on this side, now you cannot write carried down. When the total cash received is equal to contract price, what you have to write is to contract account. So in the contract account, you will get here by contractee. When the contract is complete, right? This is only and only when contract is complete. This is when contract is complete, right? Amount is received, contract is complete, you will write contractee in the contract account. Any doubt? So this is just a small account, contractee account, hardly asked in the examination, right? So nothing to worry about it. Just you should know the basic concept. Now another topic is extract of balance sheet. Sir, why it is written? Why it is written the extract word? Why we have written the word extract and not only balance sheet? Sir, we are preparing the things. We are preparing the books for a particular contract. Right? I'm not preparing my complete balance sheet. When I will prepare my complete balance sheet, I will take the data for multiple contracts. Right? I am constructing 5 houses at one time. So these are 5 contracts for me. Whenever I'm going to prepare my balance sheet for a particular contract, it will always be an extract of balance sheet. There will only be a few figures that will be available, not all the figures that will be available. Okay. there will only be the few figures that will be available, not all the figures will be available. So that is why we say the extract of balance sheet. Clear? Now, what are the things that you will take in the balance sheet on the asset side? Sir, first is about the fixed asset. We have plant at site. This is the WDV, written down value of the plant, that we recorded in the contract account here. This one, sir, the WDV of the plant and machinery. See, the balance sheet we are going to prepare at the year end. Balance sheet at year end. This is very much logical, that balance sheet we are going to prepare at the end of the year. So at year end, my balance sheet will look like this. Fixed assets, plant and machinery, WDV, current assets, work in progress, work certified and work uncertified, minus reserves on WIP which we have created, right? Or you can write it here also, WIP reserve. That is one and the same thing, right? Either you subtract it from the value of WIP or you write it on the liability side under reserves and surplus. It is one and the same thing, right? So reserves and WIP. For CA intermediate new course students, reserves on WIP will not be there, right? They will have to ignore it. Minus the cash received, or you can show it as a separate item also. Cash received, no need to minus it. Show it as a separate item, sir. Cash received. In the balance sheet, you show the cash received, show it as cash received. No issues in that, right? Then material at site. Profit and loss account in case of a loss, and in case of profit you will show here profit and loss account. In the current liabilities, if there are any accrued wages, accrued means the pending wages if there are. Now this accrued point, listen to it very carefully. Everyone has to listen to it now, right? It is not for any particular course. All the students have to listen to it. Just I'm talking about wages, right? The question says that wages incurred, wages paid 1 lakh rupees, right? Outstanding wages or wages accrued, outstanding wages 10,000 rupees. I'm talking about this 2021 year. I'm talking about the year 2021. Wages paid 1 lakh rupees and outstanding wages 10,000 rupees. Now the information for 2022 is also given, where it is given that wages paid 1 lakh rupees. Now listen to it very carefully here. Now sir, in 2021 I have already paid 10 lakh rupees and 10,000 is outstanding which I have to pay. Now tell me this outstanding figure. Now whenever you are preparing the contract account, now tell me, we are preparing the contract account. First I will prepare it for this 2021, right? I am preparing it for 2021. Now what I will do, you will write here you will write to wages 1 lakh rupees that is paid. What about this outstanding wages? Sir, these are not paid, but this is my expense of which year? My question is, if you are booking the expenses on the accrual basis, this is the expense of which year, whether it is for 2021 or whether it is for 2022. Sir, this is my expense for 2021, and in the case of contract costing, we will always assume that this the booking of expenses is on accrual basis. Now this, whether paid or not, this is my expense for 2021, and if it is an expense for 2021, I will include it here. I will write outstanding wages. How much? 10,000 rupees. Anybody is having problem with this thing? I hope nobody is having the problem. Right, sir? So my total wages expenditure in the contract account, I will book as 1,10,000. Clear? Now come to the contract account for the next year, for year 2022. Contract account for this year. Sir, what you will write here? Here you will write to wages 1 lakh rupees. Right? Clear? You will say my expenditure is 1 lakh rupees. Now listen to it very carefully. Sir, in 2021, this 10,000 was outstanding, right? In 2022, we paid 1 lakh rupees, right? There is no outstanding wages. Are you getting some point out of it? No, sir? Or yes, sir? No, sir. Sir, my point is very simple. The wages which are outstanding 10,000 here in 2021, I must have paid these wages here in 2022. There are no outstanding wages in 22. That means I have paid this 10,000 rupees in 2022 and it is included in this 1 lakh rupees. Are you getting this point? Sir, my wages were outstanding. That means I have not yet paid the wages of 10,000 in 21. Right? I will pay these wages in 22. If I am going to pay this 10,000 rupees in 2022, so this amount will be included in this 1 lakh rupees or not? Yes, sir. Right? So if I will book 1 lakh as the expenditure, will it not lead to the double counting of this 10,000 rupees? Sir, I have already counted this 10,000 as an expenditure in 21. Then how can I book it again as an expenditure in 22? Even if the payment is done, I am doing the booking on accrual basis, right? Not on the payment basis. I am doing it on accrual basis. So what I will do here is I will subtract outstanding wages of last year 10,000 and current year expenditure will be only and only 90,000 rupees and not 1 lakh rupees. Clear? Any doubts in this point? Outstanding wages. So you have to be very careful because this is very often asked in the examination. This is about the outstanding wages. Now come to another point, sir. Come to another point now. Now I will discuss another point with you. Sir, what is that point? I will discuss here, sir. Okay. Now I have already discussed about the outstanding wages. Now let's discuss about prepaid wages. What is this prepaid wages, sir? Sir, in 2021, I say total wages paid is equal to 1,10,000, right? And another information given is prepaid wages 10,000, right? Prepaid means the wages which were to be paid in the next year. This is the wages which were to be paid in next year. Wages which were to be paid in next year. I paid them in advance. Prepaid means I paid these wages in advance, right? Now, when I am going to prepare my contract account, for this year, for 2021, I'm going to prepare my contract account. What I will write is to wages 1,10,000. Is that correct? Anything else to be done? Any adjustment to be done? Any adjustment to be done, sir? Or is it fine that I will book the complete 1,10,000? Now this 10,000 is included in this. This is the total wages paid, right? And out of this 1,10,000, 10,000 is my prepaid wages. That is the wages for the next year, right? Sir, if that wage is for the next year, that means it is an expenditure for the next year. It is not yet due, right? It has not yet accrued. You have paid, but that wages are not yet accrued. So what you will do is, in the current year, you will subtract prepaid wages 10,000 rupees. My actual expenditure for this year will be 1 lakh. Any doubts? Clear? Now come to the year 2022. Now, okay, this is about the 2021. Now let's come to the 2022. In the 2022, you are given the information that total wages paid is equal to 1 lakh rupees. Now, how will you show this in the contract account? Now, if you have to prepare the contract account, how are you going to show it in the contract account? Sir, you will write here to wages 1 lakh rupees, right? You will book it as an expenditure. Sir, what about this 10,000? Sir, this was an expenditure of 2022. Then how can we miss it on this expenditure of 2022? This is the paid in the current year. This is paid in 2022. This expenditure was paid in 21. Right? But it belongs to this year. It belongs to 2022. Then how can you leave it in the contract account of this? Right? So you will add prepaid wages 10,000 rupees. The total expenditure for this year will be 1,10,000. Clear? Just simply, if you have to remember it, just remember one thing, that you have to book the expenditure in the year in which it is accrued. Right? This prepaid, it is not yet accrued. It has not yet accrued, but we have paid in advance. Right? Here it is accrued. In the year 2022, it is accrued. Whether paid in the previous year, it has accrued in this year. So you will add it in the year in which it is accrued, and you will subtract it from the year where it is paid but not accrued. Clear? Any doubts? So these are the 2 points regarding the outstanding. Now the similar case can be related to the overheads also, right? Outstanding overheads and prepaid overheads, it can be related to that also. I have explained related to wages. The same case can be related to the overheads also, right? Now with this, what we have done is we have done the major conceptual part of contract costing, right? This is the next topic that we'll be covering, that is recognition of profits on contracts nearing completion. But before that, what we are going to do is we are going to cover the practical questions, right? This practical file is available on our mobile app. Go to the store section, get it from there. Okay, so I planned for that I will do the practical question, but the conceptual part took a good amount of time, and it's better to clear your concepts first, right? And never rush on to the things. So it's always better to clear your concepts. And the major part of the contract costing is covered. And now we'll be moving on to the practical part in the next lecture, right? So guys, get the books in time, get your books in time from the website www.ksjteaching.org. Books are must now for the ongoing chapters. I'm telling you, the books are must. Right? And if you are a CMA intermediate student, you can watch the cost accounting standards and transfer pricing lectures. Those are available, already available. Those are currently available in Hindi, and the PDF of the same. All those who will be buying the books, the CMA students, I will provide the PDF of the cost accounting standards and the transfer pricing as a separate topic, right? The rest of the topics are covered in the book. Exclusively CMA topics like the transfer pricing and cost accounting standards, I will provide the PDF to you people, right? So you can write an email to me. All those who will be buying the books, they will get the PDFs. Okay. So in the next lecture, we'll continue with the practical part, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and share with maximum people. Thank you so much.